but also South African. Hey, South Africa. What's going on? Okay. I feel like a Lady Black Mozambique. What is it called?
Lady Smith.
Lady Smith. That's what I said. I love them. I was inspired by them. Yes. They do wonderful work. Yeah. Yes, I've already started the podcast. Nina, hit us up. Tell us who we are and where we came from. Oh my God. Nina.
Harmonize the podcast.
Yes.
We talk about being black,
being a woman,
being a wife,
being a mother,
being an artist,
and being a Christian, and all other kinds of stuff.
Right. Yeah. And how none of that can actually balance, but we can harmonize. Right. We gotta go on the So Me Do, right?
Yeah, right. Let me get my take 6 on. What's today's topic about, Miss Nina?
Today we're going to talk about the ever-present, ever controversial, and maybe it's not for some people, I don't know. Yeah. Topic of faith. Do you have it? Do you care? Do you know what it is? What you do?
You gotta have it.
What do you do when it fails you?
Yes, right. It was said, and George Michael said it again.
Oh Lord, here we go.
But you got to have faith. You got to have faith. Oh, you got to have faith. The faith. Oh, baby.
Okay. So y'all don't know that Kenya is really a singer in her heart.
Oh my gosh, yes. So, I come from a musical background.
So we gonna find some karaoke and go act a fool.
I love it, Aka.
That's
right, ACCA. Not across. Aka.
Aka fool. So we're going to talk about faith today, and because we haven't really gone into that too much. We have touched on it.
Yes, we've tiptoed.
Yeah,
done some point work
on
it. That's what we've done.
We've done some point work, yes. Yeah. Some point, but we have not left in, as it were. We haven't done the table work, as we say in the theater.
Yes.
About being people of faith and what that means, and
I think I know why.
Go ahead.
Well, I know why for me.
Why?
Because faith is something that you're tested with millisecond by millisecond, especially when you're Black, a mom, an artist, all of that. It's funny because I question whether I have a lot of it, and then I think about art, because I know probably the first thing I should think about is God. But let me tell you how this leads me to God.
Bring us on.
Yes,
bring us on in. Come on.
Faith for me as an artist, when I have to exercise faith, I literally had to use my body to do it. The way that I started off as a dancer, well, first of all, I had a thought. And I had a vision, of what I saw myself. And then it felt good. It was fun. Dance was just so much fun. And then it got to a point where I couldn't do a lot of the stuff that I saw other young ladies doing. And I'll give you an example. I have a body type, if you've ever seen it. It's an athletic body type, but I'm very strong, but I'm not flexible at all. I'd be, I could sit on the floor and put my feet together and hold my ankles, and my knees would be, for all my dancers who know what open hips mean, and you're supposed to have your knees to go closer to the floor. My knees weren't doing that. My knees were to the sky, and I was shaking and convulsing, and and all of that. And so someone said at some point in my life, maybe it was my teachers, I don't know, because again, I was a Black dancer in a white school and they weren't really telling me anything. So I had to figure out a lot of stuff. But somebody said, if you work at this every single day, you will achieve what you want. And if you don't achieve it to perfection, you'll definitely be better than you were. And that is what I've done all of my life as a dancer. Well, when I started to pay more attention, because I was already so immersed in God and church and everything, and I'll give you that background at some point, but I was already immersed in it so much, it was a part of me. But when I became an adult and I really began to question faith and do I have it, I thought about being a dancer. Because I said, I've done this and I've used faith, and I've done this and I've had faith. I went on that audition where they were all around the corner, and I did not get the job some of those times, but I made it down to the final 10. That was a lot of stuff that I put into, and I never was able to verbalize it because I, being a dancer, like to move. I like to talk, but a lot of time I don't know if I'm really even saying a lot of stuff. So, but I know I like to move, and for me to apply that same thing as a Christian, I realized that I had put myself further away from God than I thought that I was. Now.
Well, let's go back a little bit.
Okay.
So where did, in terms of, I guess, formalized, quote unquote, or ritualized, like religion and everything, like how, where and when did you enter faith? Like what was going on with your family as far as like going to church, or, did y'all go to church?
Okay.
Or, all of that stuff.
Okay. Well, here's my background. My father, who's the organist for our church for many years, who also played organ. Yeah, he's a musician, so he's played in a lot of churches, all kinds of churches. But he was Methodist. My grandmother, they were AME, African Methodist Episcopal. Yes. And so when they moved to Cleveland, my mom was Baptist, but Baptist in the way that very close, I think, quite close to Pentecostal, if that makes any sense. I'm not sure because I never even went to that church, because I don't even know if that church is still standing. Because she was baptized in the water, like that kind of Baptist, in the creek next to the church. And so when we came to Cleveland, when they came to Cleveland as a new married couple, he played the organ, and so he played at many different churches. And so up until about age, I consider myself Baptist. I don't know why, but up to about age 8 through 13, I guess. We pretty much went to Baptist churches here, but I also went to Catholic school. Okay, but even though I went to Catholic school, I knew that I was Baptist. I'm Baptist raised, and and I got a chance to sample a lot of different churches because I went to all of these different places that had the pipe organ, and sometimes that was not just Black folks. That was, we went to, Lutheran and, all of those. So I was familiar a little bit with the different religions only in that way. Not that I had studied or anything like that. I'd just simply been exposed. And around when I was 13, my dad landed a regular position at our church, and around 13 we both got baptized, because remember he was Methodist, right. So, and we both I was 13, and on Christmas Eve, and it was lovely, like we got baptized, and I felt great about it because all of my friends had done communion. I was like, I don't need no stinking communion, I got baptism, okay? I ain't gonna be in the water all the way down to my head. Yeah, that's my, Anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kenya Woods, ladies and gentlemen. She'll be here all week. Yeah.
So, so I think for me, that's a lot.
That's where it started.
That's where it started. That's where I started.
And that is like a lot.
That's a lot. And, but because of that, I have an understanding of, I think I was exposed to the diversity of God, and because of that, I always felt at home wherever I was. Even in Catholic school, where we did a lot of rituals and, I picked up the good part of that. And I tend to do that a lot of times when I meet people of other different religions. But sometimes that thinking completely contradicts some of the people that I run into who are under my same faith. They may look at it as they may dog it or whatever, you call it, but, I shouldn't do this or, I shouldn't hang out. And no one has ever said that to me. Okay. But
a lot of times they don't have to. A lot of times it's implied. And they may not say it directly to you, but
you could feel it.
It gets in there. Yeah. I mean,
you could really feel it. And the reason why I bring all of that up is because, I've been out with people that are my close friends who, are Muslim or Jewish, some people that I would consider closest family who are from different backgrounds, and I've been out with them with other members looking at me like why are you hanging out with with that person? And I don't usually I'm so out of it I don't even think about it. All I know is to me the beauty of God is the fact that we come together regardless of what differences we have. Now the reason why that's such a hot topic for me, and that's something that I feel like I have to be careful to talk about, is because, I'm always wondering, what my faith is from minute to minute. I very honestly wonder, I know I have it. There's sometimes I'm very strong in it. But to be honest with you, there's sometimes where I'm like, oh, Lord, what have I gotten through here? Are you here? Where are you? You said you was going to be here. And, right. And I always, and put in my place. Sometimes nicely and sometimes not so nicely. So in my mind, I have no choice but to have faith because as an artist, that's what I've done anyway.
Come through.
Yes. So I get very offended when I run into people. I have discussions with other Christians who make me feel that because I dance, then I am doing the devil's work, or they have their little say so about what I should be doing with my dance, because that my dance is a hobby or my choreography is a hobby or whatever. I that's when I'm ready to using faith on one hand, but on the other hand, I'm like, I will smite you. Don't tell me I'm doing God's work. That's the best. That's the biggest creator. Yeah. He's a creator.
Okay.
The spirit.
Can I jump in?
Come on, please jump in, because somebody stop me.
Silly. Sorry if y'all heard the dragging chair. I'll try to get it out in post-production, but it might not happen.
Yes.
So yeah, I similarly, I grew, y'all know, if this is not your first episode, that I grew up in the Lower Ninth Ward.
Yes. Say what you wanna.
Here she go. So I was born in New Orleans. When my mother got ill, my sister and I spent maybe about a year and a half. No, not even that long. That's not true. Maybe slightly less than a year in Cleveland. And then we lived with my grandmother in Baton Rouge before we moved back to New Orleans with Dad. So, because my mom's people are from Cleveland. So, I was born into a Catholic household. Now, my mom's people are missionary Baptists. Is that correct? That's not correct. No, they're Baptists because there's different Baptists. There's First Baptist. There's Missionary Baptist.
Yes. There's a lot of.
They are they are Missionary Baptists.
Okay.
Missionary Baptist. Yeah, they're Missionary Baptists. And then my dad's family is Catholic, and both of my grandmothers I like to think of as my spiritual legacy. It's good to have a praying grandmama.
Yes, it is.
But my grandmother in Baton Rouge, my mom, I used to call her, like, in my head, and I don't know if I ever said this out loud to anybody, and my grandma Theola, both of them, I call them first responders. Because it didn't matter what it was, good, bad, and different. Their first response was always prayer, right? And so the way that was for Maman is, the rosary. Somebody will call her and tell her something happened, or come over and tell her something happened. And again, good, bad, and different. She'd be like, oh, and she'd go away for like 20 minutes and come back. And, as I got older, I realized, in that 20 minutes, she was praying the rosary.
That's interesting.
And, but always, I mean, she religiously prayed. She prayed probably, she was what Paul described. We should pray always,
right,
in all things.
Right.
And so, there was going to be a minimum of a rosary a day, but there might be 3 or 4.
Wow.
Yeah. And
that rosary is long, y'all.
Listen.
10 Our Fathers and 5 Hail Marys. Is that right?
No, girl, it's all right. No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No. No, girl. It's 5 sections of 10 Hail Marys.
Oh, it's 10 Hail. I had it backwards.
Yeah, it's a Apostles' Creed.
Right.
Act of Faith.
Yeah.
3 Hail Marys. I'm not gonna do the whole thing.
Okay.
I just remembered. It's over 50 prayers on a rosary bead. So it's been probably over 20 years since I have prayed rosary personally. But so, and there were different points in my childhood. My dad's household, we were Catholic, and but we were Catholic in New Orleans, which is Catholicism is different depending on what part of the country you're in, depending on what part of the world you're in, and it's different from parish to parish. But,
yeah, that's true.
But in New Orleans, it was a whole different thing altogether because what you had was a mixing and a blending of, Catholic doctrine, and depending on the parish you were a part of or the people who were in your circle, you also had a blending of Catholic and African ritual. So, because, okay, here we go. Nina's soapbox for 5 seconds. On paper, Catholicism and Voodoo are the same in structure.
Right.
There's the Holy Trinity, there's the Holy Family, and you have for every Catholic saint a corresponding Loa spirit. The first law, Napoleonic Code, the Code Noir, which was the governing body of laws in Louisiana Territory, stated that anybody, slave, free, indentured servant, colonist, whatever, if you were living in the colony, you must be baptized Catholic, period. That was the first law on the books. So the biggest difference between British enslavement and French enslavement was that the British went all over, got all different people, mixed them all up. That was their strategy. They can't talk to each other, they can't revolt. French strategy was different. French strategy was, we're going to go right here to this one section. We're going to pick up this entire ethnicity of people because they know how to grow the crops we want and work the iron the way we need them to and all of those things. Because one of the biggest misconceptions, I promise I'm going to get back to the faith.
Yes.
One of the biggest misconceptions about slavery is that it was just about free labor. It was not. It was about skilled labor. They were getting people who knew how to do particular types of crops depending on the area they were settling. So make no mistake, okay? They were getting skilled labor.
Wow.
And that's just one of those subtle things that's not taught in a way purposefully. That's a whole different episode. But yes,
would that explain even the architecture?
Absolutely,
and that makes sense.
No, and now we'll go. They were blacksmiths. They were So they went and got like all of Senegal, Mali, the Bambara people. That's who they brought to New Orleans. Who they were practicing what is now called in Louisiana voodoo. Voodoo. Right. Depending on it's a boat stop. Right. You go somewhere else, it's called Santeria. You go somewhere else, it's called Ifa. Right. You go somewhere else, it's called Orisha. Right. Yeah. But it is all very, very similar.
On all of these things, I actually learned at a black school. Tennessee State University. TSSSU in my French classes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, back to the thing.
Okay.
Depending on when and where you entered Catholicism in New Orleans, you know, you might have one older lady who'll say, yeah, baby, you know, this happened, whatever, you pray a rosary, you know. You have another old lady will tell you, yeah, baby, you know, this happened. You say this prayer to St. Anthony, and you turn the glass upside down and put a scissor in the You be like, wait, hold up. What's that other part?
Wait, can I write that down?
Be like, wait. What's that other part? You know, what you talking? And but you know, so there was a mixing and a blending, a lot of times, and it was one of those things. It's like New Orleans is a place that has a lot of they're not afraid to deal with the supernatural, and acknowledge that the supernatural realm exists.
Yeah.
So whether you are Catholic or not, the belief in or something else, right? The belief in the presence of spirit and or spirits is not strange to you.
It's funny because you really feel that. My first and only trip there, I'm hoping to come back, y'all. I'm bringing my umbrella and my kerchief.
We gonna go have a girls'
Yes,
trip.
we are. We're gonna have something to celebrate on. I don't know if y'all can handle that episode, but it's funny because you really feel that dynamic when you're there.
Yeah.
And so, you know, once you hit the soil, you automatically think, what is my own faith? What is it that I believe in? Because you could go down there and say, oh, I don't believe in that stuff at all, blah, 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 blah. You can say that if you want to. But when you get there, you like, you're just very careful.
Right.
You're very careful.
So, you know. that's kind of like, so that's the environment that I came up in. You know, we were Catholic. We went to church on Sunday. You went in, it was an hour, you dropped your dollar, went home, you prayed your rosary before bed, you know, you went to confession.
They didn't ask you for much. You did
your confessional.
Yeah, right.
You know, you did all, you know, I did all the things. I had my first communion, I had my confirmation, I did all the things.
Right.
And, you know, there was one summer we were in Baton Rouge because we would always go to Baton Rouge for like 2-3 weeks in the summer and stay with, you know, the auntie's house and the grandma's house and the other auntie's house and all of that. And so the parents can have a break.
Right.
And we went with my cousins to Vacation Bible School, and they were Baptists. And so that was the first time that I honestly felt and understood what I felt as the presence of God. And, you know, I went home and told my parents, it's like, I don't think I want to take communion.
Oh, Lord.
You know?
Oh, my God.
You know, and they just took it all out of context and went off, and you got to do the thing and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well.
Somebody pray the rosary over that child.
And I was like, but listen, you know, because things say, you know, it's like if you take the communion and you're not sure, you're going to hell.
Oh,
so I was like, I ain't trying to send myself to hell. I mean, we got very clear instructions. If you having some kind of doubt, don't eat this today. You know, you know. So I'm thinking you know, and they went off. Oh no, okay.
Poor Nina.
And so it was fine. You know, they're like, you going to church? It's like, well, I didn't say I wasn't going to church. I just said I you know. So that was kind of the first time I started to question things because, well, no, that's not true.
Okay.
There was oh wow, this is all coming flooding back.
Oh my
gosh.
So
there was a period in time before my dad married my stepmother, and we were going to like a aftercare. You know, lady had an in-home daycare, aftercare at her house, and they were Jehovah's Witness, and so they was talking about interesting stuff. You know, because you know I don't know, 7, 8, listening to grown folks' conversation. And I was like, what y'all talking about? You know, and they were like,
like the liar.
Basically. And they were like, well, come sit here. You can listen.
The liar is one of the youngest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, she's
definitely
she's the middle child.
She's the middle child. Okay.
She's the one that's the
with
most
the
like
younger
me.
Girl.
Yeah, she's the younger girl, but she's the one that's most like me. But in any case, you know, I asked to go listen. And at that point, they were engaged. They weren't married yet, but they were engaged. And so I had to be about 8, maybe 9.
Yeah.
And, you know, and so they asked permission. They were like, you know, Nina wants to come to the Bible study, you know, whatever. And Daddy was like, oh, okay. You know, the child want to learn about the Bible. That's fine.
Get God when you can get God.
So then one night, being me, I asked them a question they couldn't answer. I was like, so when we die and go to heaven, who gonna be my mama? Because, my mama already died. And my daddy getting married again. So I got 2 mamas. So who gonna be my mama? And they were like, Lord. Oh, Lord, Jesus. They didn't know how to answer that. And so they basically told me some stuff like, God gonna take care of that. You don't have to worry about that. I was like, well, I'm not worried about it. I just want to know, and I was so upset because they couldn't answer me because they were like so sure about so many things. And I was like, why can't you tell me the answer? So then, I went home and I told my daddy. And they were so pissed. Like, they called Miss Joe, the lady who, watched this, and they told her off. And they told the man off.
Oh, that's terrible.
Girl, they told everybody off. They would get God. They would get so upset about anything that, like, demonstrated questioning or doubt. And a lot of times it wasn't even doubt. It was just
questioning.
I have a question. Yeah.
It was a simple, very basic, what you thought.
But here's what I learned later. Just through my own experience, they, Catholics, well, I'm not going to speak for all Catholics everywhere in the world. The Catholics in the parish that we went to. Okay. You got a missalette every month that was printed. And so in the missalette, it would have the Old Testament reading, the Psalm for the day, and the New Testament reading. So you read that. You didn't read your actual Bible. You read the missalette. And then sometimes it was like, here's a verse, ... here's some more. And, it's not till you older and you're in English class and you learn what any lips mean. It's like, oh, they left some stuff out. What y'all leave out?
Yeah. I learned that too by the time we got to 8th grade Catholic school. I was like, hey,
it's a piece missing, right?
A lot of pieces missing.
Oh, yeah. And it wasn't nefarious. It was just like, this is the point we're trying to get to.
Yeah, right.
But because of that, and because it's handed to you like, here, this is what you're studying.
This is the food you're going to eat today. Right. This is your spiritual food. Here,
exactly. Take that. And it's like everybody in the whole parish is, and there is something powerful about that. It's like, if there are 100 churches in this parish and we all have this missalette, so it's thousands of people reading this verse this morning at every mass. There is, there's a unity in that. There's a feeling of community in that, a feeling of connectedness in that, and fellowship, right? And so, that's what you did because that's what you were taught.
Right.
And it wasn't until 12, 13, which that's the obvious time, right? Where I started questioning some of that. I go to vacation Bible school for 5 days with my cousins, and I'm like, what y'all reading? They like, the Bible, girl. And I'm like, where the missalette? And they like, the Bible, girl. Like, what's in the missalette? Come out of here. You need to learn how to read this. And I was like, okay, do we even have one of those? And of course we did somewhere in the house because you get one at your first communion and all that. Right. But it's like the thought of going into that book and finding something for myself was terrifying.
Yeah, that didn't happen until I was older.
Listen, okay, not until I pledged Z Phi B.
Hey!
Okay, that's a secret. Y'all didn't know I was a Zeta. I'm not active. Don't come for me.
That's all right.
But
I still love you.
Listen, I got 5 children. That stuff is expensive.
I know, that's right.
So, but it wasn't until I pledged Zeta, girl. Okay, so fast forward.
Okay.
Nina's in college.
Okay.
I'm at Dillard, DU, right? A private Methodist university.
Oh, Lord.
So we go to chapel every Friday morning and listen to Dr. Samuel Du Bois.
Oh, my God.
And the choir sings Moses Hogan,
Yes, for the Moses Hogan.
Okay, what? We got the for real, the classical Negro spirituals.
Yes, thank you. That's what my daddy do, y'all.
Yeah, that's what her daddy do. Yes. So, I got that, and that was a whole different experience because, like, this was black church, but this was bougie black church.
Yes. So I can relate to that.
Right. This was a different thing, right? And so we pledged. I crossed the burning sands.
All right.
We did all our stuff. They gave us all our paraphernalia and our white Bible.
Oh, boy.
And, I had never had a Bible that was mine.
Wow.
There was like the household Bible. Right. This one was mine.
Yes.
This was for me. So I had never like handled and examined it, because I grew up Catholic. You got the missalette.
Right.
So, I'm looking at it.
At least you know the name of it.
What,
I
girl?
don't think they even told me that. They were just, look, at my Catholic school, they were just like, listen, y'all are all here because y'all trying to keep from going to Cleveland public schools. So I need everybody, because it's all white nuns and stuff. I'm going to need everybody to sat down over here. They didn't say it like that. I'm
Right.
translating into Southern/ghetto. I'm going to need y'all to sat down. Otherwise, I'm going to get this paddle with the holes in it. I'm going to hit every boy up in here. And we were like, you don't hit the boys for us? Okay.
Right.
Yeah. But no, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I got the Bible, and I had never examined it before, so I'm looking at it, and it's like it has the little table of contents, and then it's got the little bit like, go to this verse if you have questions about. And I was like, yo,
this is fascinating.
And they were like, girl, every Bible got that in it, and I was like, I didn't know, So I was that black chick. And
we all are that chick.
Well, it's just like, it was just so different because there are, like, I didn't think until I got to Dillard and started meeting all different kinds of black. I had met different kinds of black people, but even the public schools, all of the private schools in New Orleans were Catholic, but all of the people were Catholic too.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So it wasn't like you going to Catholic school and that's strange. New Orleans is a Catholic city,
right?
So we had, the first order of black nuns is in New Orleans. So St. Mary's Academy is all black nuns.
Wow, and I had never seen.
Right, but
because I'm from the Ohio side. I'm from the supposed to be the abolitionist side, allegedly.
Right,
and we're not gonna talk about Virginia and where the dude came from, but allegedly, I'm supposed to be from that side.
Right. Well, but that's the thing. Right. So like being at, like we saw black Catholics, we saw black priests, we saw black nuns. So it's because St. Aug, St. Mary's, Xavier Prep, all these places there were, black Jesuits, there were the black, it was black Catholics everywhere. And because that was so much a part of the culture of the city, like to be Baptist or something was to be in the minority in New Orleans. Oh. Because the state is Catholic. Right. Because it was that way from the foundation of the colony. Right. Okay, so whereas all this stuff was Protestant. Oh, you see, so it's historical. Right. So it's like when you met a black Baptist, having grown up Catholic in black parishes with black Catholics, you were like, oh, it's like we heard about y'all. But
I think that's how I felt about Catholicism, though, because even most of us who went to Catholic school, pretty much all of us were Baptists.
Right.
But we went to Catholic school, and because the education there was, better, and they didn't want us to most of our parents didn't want us to fall into that system, right? But we came from, well, at least in my case, I came from parents who probably witnessed and understood more of what you're talking about, because mine are from the South.
No, because that was Louisiana specific.
Well, I mean, what I mean to say is that they would have seen, well, especially my father, not so much my mother, but my father, because of his music,
possibly
was able to be exposed to that. He would have seen, and he studied that, like he knew he knew who the pastors and priests and preachers were, because he had been in that world as a musician, right? I don't, not necessarily in New Orleans, but because I think with the Methodist Church, y'all tell me if I'm right or wrong, but you had visiting preachers as well. That also, I mean, I just think
but they wouldn't have been Catholic.
They wouldn't have been Catholic, but the diversity that was coming in and out would have exposed him a little bit more.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, I've been a lot of places, and it's not.
It's nothing like New Orleans.
It's not.
I don't think.
No, I mean, and I think that, and again, purely speaking through the lens of my own experience. Yeah. Obviously, there are many vibrant, Baptist churches, Methodist churches. Right. Lutheran is more prevalent because it's the closest to Catholic. Right. But, it's black Catholics. Yeah. That's what they are. Right. So, that was all the way up until I was 18. Okay. And then that's where, art stepped in. And that's where I think my faith and my personal relationship with God really started because I was like, so like if you really exist and stuff, my life sucks. Being in my household is hell. And the only thing that makes me happy is like this acting stuff.
Yeah.
So we got to work this out. What we gonna do?
Right. Because I can only imagine what advice you might get with your
there was
17-year-old young self. Oh, there wasn't. Yeah.
No, there was not even any conversation.
No, right.
No, I had to be completely transparent and perfectly honest. I had to lie and not tell them that I changed my major. And it wasn't until the 4.2 report card came home and they were like, oh, girl, you got straight A. Nina, this all theater classes. That's when they found out.
Kenya puts her hand over her mouth and opens her eyes.
Yeah, no, girl. No, they didn't know. There was no conversation. They just thought I was doing some little plays on the side. They didn't understand that I had changed my major.
Oh.
So, but...
Girl.
No, seriously. But here's where the faith part comes in. So,
poor person.
So my little first semester, I am like skating through Dillard. Skating. Because I went to the college preparatory public magnet. I had taken all AP courses. I basically started as like a second semester freshman, almost a sophomore.
Wow.
And so I was just like skating through stuff and I had straight A's, but it was like all kind of like general classes, like, and I think I had said like education was going to be my major. I took one education class and I was like, And I think I had a day, I remember this because I often think it again. Like let's say I'm like a 6th grade teacher.
Okay.
And I teach English.
Okay.
And they read a book and I assign them a character study. And I got 5 classes with 20 to 30 kids each. And they all write a 1-page paper. I got 200 some papers to grade. I ain't doing that. And that's when I said, I ain't being nobody's teacher. Because I just like the thought of doing that.
Can I please bang the table?
But I mean, the thought of grading that many papers over and over and over and over again for months and years for the rest of my life, I was like, oh, heck no, I ain't doing this. So, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, guy, but we got to do something.
Right.
And I had not actually done theater in college. I had done, in high school,
right.
I had done speech and debate team. But I didn't even do I think I did oratory one semester. I never did Lincoln Douglas debate. I never did cross-ex debate. I always did poetry interpretation, duet acting. I always did those categories in forensics.
Wow.
So I was basically doing all the acting stuff in speech and debate. And I decided somewhere in there, backtrack
yes.
to 15 years old.
Okay.
So this was one of it's not the first, there are many, but this is one of the first that didn't have something to do with someone else's death. Okay. Because I had many visions and premonitions of people's death when I was very young. And I think because my mother died when I was 4, because I saw her die, or I at least saw the act of her swallowing the poison. So death was a place where I was very open and vulnerable spiritually, so that's kind of where I tapped in.
That's a constant tapping of faith,
right? So throughout my life, I knew when my Uncle Herbert was gonna pass. I dreamt my grandfather Papa's death and funeral from beginning to end, down to the detail of what clothes people were wearing.
Wow.
A year before it happened, So I've had that all my life. So when I was 15, this was the first time I had a vision that was, it was an open vision, and it was good.
Wow.
It was, or I should say, like, not scary to me as a child.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was when I was auditioning for speech and debate. And our coach was Miss Fontenot. This woman had hair like Crystal Gale. It was down to her ankles.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Long blonde hair. Down to her ankles. And she was like that teacher that everybody loved because she was sassy. She would tell the administration off. She didn't care.
Oh my God. Can you imagine her flip her hair?
Right. Yes.
That'd kill 10 people.
Girl, and that's what she would do. And she used to wear these little boots. And so you just see that hair swinging and hear that clack, clack, clack coming down the hall. And you knew she had just told somebody off. So anyway, she was our coach. And so Miss Fontenot, you know, she basically said, you know, get a passage of literature or a poem, something you want to read, and you know, come in and that can be your audition. And you don't even have to memorize it. Just, you know, bring it in. I was like, okay. So I chose The Creation by James Weldon Johnson.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And so I came in, ironically, The Creation.
The Creation.
The moment I was created as an actor. Here we go. So,
yes.
So I went in and I started it, and she's like, stopped me. She's like, stop. I was like, oh, I'm so offended. And she's like, stop.
You didn't even hear me get to the part where I said.
Right. The good part, right? And she was like, stop, just stop. And I was like, what's the matter? And she said, that is what you have heard people do.
Huh.
And she said, I can hear that your instinct is telling you to do something else. She said, do what you hear in your head. And I was like, oh. I was like, I could do that? She said, yes, dear. That's why it's called interpretation. Go in the hallway and practice for 5 minutes and come back. And I was like, oh.
You know why? Because she done graded too many papers out of her day. She was like, oh.
Okay. She's like, yes, that's why it's called interpretation. Go away and come back. So, you know, I went in the hallway and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this. And she's probably gonna stop me around here. So I went back in. And I started it, right? And so now I'm doing it the way I hear it in my head. And as I am performing the audition, if I'm lying, I'm flying.
Girl.
I saw a movie reel like appear in front of me, right? Like in the air. And it like unrolled. Okay, so then I could see like each frame on the film, you know, on the, you know, the tape, right? Mm-hmm. But like in each frame, it was like me in different plays. It was me with different actors. It was people that I was gonna, and I have, and it comes back to me every now and again, and it like rolls out some more. Like, you see, we have gotten this far, you know.
I know what you're talking about. I had something similar.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I was like, oh, what's that? You know, you know. So I'm like of two minds because that's happening, and I'm doing the poem and everything, and I was like, that was cool, you know. I didn't know what it was, you know. And so then later, I'm 18. I'm sophomore year, so I'm like 19, sitting on the steps at Dillard. And at this point, I had done all kind of crazy stuff. I had like gone to the office of the vice president of academic affairs and demanded that they make a theater major because I couldn't go no other school, and I was going to Dillard. That's another story for another episode. But
that's faith.
Like, so
that's faith.
Right. It's
that's faith.
Well, at that point, it was just stupidity.
Yeah,
you know, because I could have got kicked out of school.
That was faith based on stupidity.
Right.
But it was faith nonetheless.
Right. But it's, you know, me and a bunch of other, you know, like 5 of us, and we like banged on this door. We're like, we need to talk to you, Dr. Lacey. You know. And you know, we had a standing meeting with him once a month. And we had to.
He was like, oh no.
Right. He was like, here they come. You know. And we had to provide for him evidence why we should have a theater major. You know. And you know, every time I came back with more reasons, and the next year we had a department.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right. Watch God work. So, so you know, I'm sitting there
about learning how to defend your art.
Okay.
This is how how it starts.
Right. So I'm sitting on the steps. I got my little Zeta Bible.
Yes.
Little Zeta Bible, girl. And my friend Cliff had walked like clear across campus, and I saw him stop. Like, I was just, you know, it was like quiet time of the day. You know, there's people on the yard, but not too many. And I saw him like stop and kind of like cock his head to the side, like he was listening to something, or like he thought of something, you know. And he turned around, he made a beeline straight for me, and he said, Nina, I gotta tell you something. I was like, okay. He's like, God said read Proverbs, and then he walked away, and I was like, right. I'm like, boy, what? Yeah, what you mean God said? He talked to you like in a voice? Like, how this work? I don't understand.
Right. Oh, that's right, because you're Catholic.
Right.
You have to go through the ranks.
Exactly.
That's right.
I'm like, I have questions, you know?
Right. You got to see the bishop.
Right. You know?
Yeah.
So, but I went home and I did it. and I read the whole book, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That was nice. That was kind of like a folk tale. I get it. I could dig it. Yeah. We had this little priest in our parish, Father Palicki, and he used to tell Anansi stories. That's how he did his sermons. So, right? You see how it's all working together.
Oh,
see,
my goodness.
Anybody who knows me knows I'm a storyteller too.
So,
you know, Father Palicki used to tell little Anansi stories. I'm reading the Proverbs. I'm like, oh, this sounds like, okay, I got it. Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, okay, God, what you saying? What is you saying? You know?
Right.
And so I was like, you know me. Mm-hmm. I'm one of your special children. I'm special.
Okay.
What did I notice? I noticed that at the beginning, middle, and end of every chapter in the book of Proverbs, the words knowledge, wisdom, and understanding appeared. So I'm like, it's 31 books. That's 3 times each book. That's at least 100 times, because that's the minimum that they appeared. Those words are here. So I guess you telling me to pray for that.
Yes.
So that's where my faith started. That's what I prayed for. I prayed for knowledge, for wisdom, and for understanding. And as we were sitting there, as I, you know, me and the Lord.
Yes.
But this is before I had read the book. You know, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
I was like, so, you know, I like to talk. So I was talking to God, talking to myself. You know.
Yes.
And I was like, so, you know, if I'm supposed to do this, like, if I'm really gonna do this acting thing, like, I don't know how to do this. You know, New Orleans is a music town.
Yeah.
It's a visual arts town. Mm-hmm. Nobody does this here. Not really. Yeah. You know, so how am I supposed to do this? And I promise y'all, I'm not trying to be like fake, deep, spiritual, spooky, nothing. This is what happened.
Okay.
The Bible was on my lap. The wind blew. It fell off. I picked it up. Mm-hmm. And it was a rock on the page.
Okay.
So I plucked the rock off the page, and the verse it was on was, a man's gift will make room for him and place him before great men. And I was like, okay, cool. Okay, but what I'm supposed to do when I get in front of them? If I'm lying, I'm flying, the wind blew.
God didn't say, he did not say, why you ask so many daggone questions?
Not yet.
I'm just kidding.
Not yet. He was letting me be Job and get it all out.
Right,
you know?
right.
But the wind blew. Mm-hmm. And the verse I got was in Isaiah. And the angel will go before you and say, this is the way, walk ye in it. And that went on for about 20 minutes. Like, I asked questions, and I, one way or the other, I got an answer. And I was like, okay, I don't know why I'm not scared right now, because this right here that just had all this real deep,
right,
God, but I'ma take it.
Yeah.
Because I asked, you answered.
Right.
And if this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what I say. This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to turn back. Because you said. So that's all I got to go on.
Right. That's right.
And that's kind of where it started for me. It has, you know, and whenever I get in a moment where I am having doubt or questioning, or, you know, like I'm just at a loss.
Right.
Somehow, some way, we get to the place where I have to tell that story.
Yeah. And that's somebody been going through it a little bit.
Hey, just a little.
Listen, I got nothing to say, because there's a lot of, you know, we come from different backgrounds in that way, but a lot of what you said has been so similar.
Yeah.
And so I guess when I say I have no choice but to have faith, is because I've had so many moments like that. And sometimes those moments will happen so often in a day. And then I won't have those moments for a while, because I'm just living life, you know, but those moments will happen so often that I find, you know, that if I'm having doubts, it's not going to last long. Now, there have been some times where I've doubted my faith and it's lasted longer than I thought. And when that does happen, something, you know, you'll call and talk me off the ledge. Or something will happen that will have me to remember. And it's very strange, because, you know, I have to say, the book, when I graduated from high school, I was given my own Bible. So I've had my own Bible. My grandmother got me a Bible, and then what was really cool was that we had this rite of passage at our church at the time called Orita. Okay, and we in that rite of passage at the end of it, they gave us a Bible, and how funny is this? During that time, we had to we worked it kind of like a bar mitzvah. That makes sense. I'm going back, and this is very strange because I'm kind of doing the same thing with my son right now. Right now, he has just finished reading the book of Proverbs because we don't have bar mitzvah because, well, I'm not Jewish. He's not Jewish. Not that we know of, but we not Jewish, you know. So I have created a rite of passage, something like what I went through, because I want him to have that same opportunity. But anyways, in that, we had to read, one of the poems we had to learn to read was The Creation by James Weldon Johnson. Yes. And it's, and so I have those moments. I'm gonna go forward and I'm gonna go back a little bit, back and forth. And when I got to Tennessee State, I was considered an adult, even though I knew that I was so fresh and so new and so green. But there were things that I knew I would be grounded on, and that was in my faith. And I made an attempt to read. I had that Bible that you read every day so that you can read the entire Bible. Well, honey, I did it. I did it in my freshman year. I don't know how I did it, but I did. I read the whole entire Bible, even when I came back from the club. That's why I could understand Miss Trina on Girls Trip, because it was, that was me. That was the one who was who was like, I ain't going to hell, I'm going to pray. But they was like, but this kid, you was just on the floor dancing. Oh, and that, what was in that cup? But I still would do it because I was like, I don't care what y'all fools say. I am a child of God, and blah blah blah, and that's a very gray area, but I did it, So I had my verses that I would refer to, and I, like you, when I spoke to God, because I was having these visions of wanting to design and dance and those kinds of things. And for whatever reason, I just thought that I could just do it because why not? My parents seemed to be okay with it. That's the blessing
of your 20s.
I was just like, my dad's a musician. My mom, why can't I be a dancer? I'm going to New York. I want to be in Paris. I want to do this and this and that. So I kind of came up with this whole bougie attitude. Like, I could just do it and I'm just going to be successful. And that's all that there is to it. And, but I also knew I wasn't that spoiled that I didn't know that I couldn't do it by myself, and that I knew that I had to be spiritually sound at some point. I had to answer to a higher being. I couldn't just be buck wild, and nor did I want to be. But the Bible became a very solid foundation. But as much as I love the Bible, there was another way that I began to understand faith and God. And that was through another book that I read.
And what was that book, Miss Kenya?
Girl, I read that book every now and again.
You are the one who got me to read that book.
Yes, child. It's called The Alchemist. It is The Alchemist. And yes, child, it is all that. It's so good that, and it's quite an easy read. It's by Paulo Coelho. Who has a very interesting background as well, now that I think about it. I had my son saw me reading this book so much, he was like, what in the heck is this book about? My son's only 12 years old, and, reading, and him, like, he reads now because he's very well educated. He's in a system that they actually educate him. Right. Okay. He was like, what? I need to read a book. Just like, here, take this. You'll really like this. This is wonderful. I go back to that book probably as often as I go back to Psalms or Proverbs or Corinthians. Those are my favorite books. Because it's filled with so much hope. It's filled with the same type of hope, and it requires me to be filled with faith. While I'm reading it, I've read it at just about every stage in my life up to date, and I found something different about the book. And I can't tell you anything except for it's really a fable. It's a fable, but it's so, the book that I have it lined and outlined and highlighted and penciled stuff in and, you know, dated and stuff, just like I do my Bible. And it's not to equate that book to the Bible, but a lot of, you know, if you knew the writer, you know, a lot of what he pulls comes from what he understands of Christianity and faith, and also it pulls from other religions too. Yeah, it really does. But the basic thing that we go through on faith, I seem to find it in that book, and I love the title Alchemy anyway because I didn't realize this as a dancer that I'm a real science buff. I didn't know. I wish I had education. Known. Come on, the child. I've been listening to. You know, and it's funny because for whatever reason, for the last week, I've been listening to a lot of Thomas Dolby. I know that's so stupid, but I live into, She Blinded Me with Science, but I remember that there's a lot of other music that he made that he speaks in the language of education, and it reminds me of alchemy, which reminds me of faith, which is God. You know, reminds me of all of those things. You know, so when I have these moments that that have me armed, which has been a big verse. This, I don't know the actual wording, but it has to do with you know, wear your armor of God so that you can be prepared for Satan.
Ephesians 6:10 through 18.
Ephesians 6:10. Okay, I thought it was something 11, 6:11, but it's 6:10. Yeah. I was close. Oh yeah. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. That has been sticking with me, and you know, I've been able to do that along with my art, because when I got into my art, I didn't feel like it would go against a lot of what I was thinking, but a lot of times people question me as a dancer and a Christian. Let's get into it. Right? Yes. How can you possibly be both? I'm gonna tell you how you can possibly be in both, because that's really how you learn how to exercise your faith. Right. For me, that is the quickest route. Right. To learn how to exercise your faith, you know. So I'm always often very offended. You know, I don't show it, and I might, you know, because I understand it, I'm in a place of understanding now. Yeah. But, you know, when I'm questioned about how what I do as a dancer, as a choreographer has anything to do with God, you know, I'm just like, you don't know what type of faith this requires. You have no idea. So you can't bring it. Yeah. You know, just because, you know, if I wear tights and a leotard and some point shoes, which I don't wear point shoes anymore. I barely wear the tights and the leotard. But, you know, if I dance naked. Yes, if I do that too. I will do that too, because I love bodies. Yeah. I love bodies. I think they're beautiful. I just love, and I love all kinds of bodies. You know, so when I took the position at my church to do dance ministry, I was conflicted in a lot of ways. One is I didn't want people to peg me as, you know, that hobby, that extra part of. Come on, let's talk about church culture and the arts. We can bring it. Yeah, we can bring it. Okay, and they can handle it. I didn't want them to be, you know, I don't want them to, first of all, dictate to me what I should and shouldn't happen on the pulpit and in the church, and how I should feel about that. I'm a professional. I'm also been raised, surrounded, engulfed, drenched in the church. I also have done my homework and done my research about the Bible. I've taken my Bible classes. I've studied that, and I've had life experiences that have prepared me just perfectly for the position that I do. So the last thing I need for anyone to do is come and tell me what I should and shouldn't do. Who doesn't know anything don't know nothing about what I do, to come and tell me how to do what I do. That is the last thing. You stay over there. You stay over there. You can hold that Bible class if you want to, because I'm not going to come up to you and say, I'm going to have to talk to you about the 10 Commandments and see if you actually know
what they are.
Yeah,
because I don't think you know.
I don't think you don't see me coming to you to say that, or you should wear your pantyhose this way, because if you don't, you're not a Christian. Don't tell me that. Don't come to me and tell me that. And a lot of times that's what I face when, inside and outside of the church, people who are Christian will judge and say, they don't just do it to me. They do it to the world of actors. They do it to the world. They do it to the musicians, although not as often, but they do it.
Let me tell you, I had somebody actually try to convince me that acting was a sin because acting equals lying. And I was like, Satan,
right?
Get thee behind me. Okay,
drop the Bible,
right? And in fact, come here and catch this Bible and some holy hands, because shut up. I mean, because sometimes there are so many artists. There are so many artists of any genre and medium who are Christians.
They won't say it,
but they will not tell you, and they won't tell people at church what they do.
No,
so because you're like forced to live this like double life.
I can't do that. You got 5 kids and a husband. I got 2, and who got time for that?
I used to have people be like, well, you can't do that, because if you do that, then you're going to be around homosexuals. I said, let me help you.
Oh my gosh.
I said, first of all, let me help you.
Yes, help
I have met some homosexuals that are first of all holier than you'll ever be. Than you'll ever be.
Yes.
Then you'll ever be.
Yes. Ever.
Then you will ever be.
Ever.
Ever. And it's like, first of all, what you scared of?
Yeah, right.
What you scared? Because anytime.
Girl, bring it.
Bring it. Let me take a breath.
Oh my God.
Let me take a breath.
Where is the Bible right now? Let me pull up my app.
Right. But anytime anybody tries to talk you out of what you know, down to the cells in the marrow of your bone, is your God-given gift. Yes. It's because of fear.
Yeah.
And the way that I always answer, well, first of all, I don't even talk to those people anymore. I just walk away.
Right.
But at the time when I was 20 and had energy for that and space for that, and I had to learn how to hone the apologetics of the theater, so I could explain to you why what I was doing was of God.
Yeah, right.
What I used to say to them was,
I'm just like, okay, girl, I'm gonna shut up.
Wait, here we go. Let's read.
I'll huff and puff. Okay.
And blow you down. No. But what I used to say to them is, listen, if we are who we say we are,
come on, Miss Nina,
and we believe what we say we believe, then who are you to tell me that God can't provide whatever I need through the gift he gave me?
He gave it.
Lay down. Because first of all, if we believe what we say we believe, which is that we are created in the image and likeness of God, then one of the things we are is creators.
Right.
So go sit down.
Yes, thank you.
We were created to create.
Girl.
So go sit down.
Girl.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
Go sit down. Be seated. The theater has anywhere from 150 to 1,050 seats. You can choose whichever you like. I can get you a comp ticket and you can be seated. Okay? You can have several seats. You can have a box seat in the opera box if you want it. But you're going to walk away from me. Or you can catch these holy hands. We can lay on hands if you need it. Get out my face. Trying to tell me what the Lord ain't tell you nothing he ain't tell me first.
Right. Tell him.
And I can give you a chapter and verse on that.
Oh, Lord.
Because I'm a prophetic dreamer.
There you go.
So first of all,
But wait,
why he talking to you about me? What did he say for you?
Today. What did you learn out of this?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Can you tell?
But you know what?
Encounter?
It's funny because right mid sentence when I said, "Let me grab my Bible," I pulled it up my verse of the day.
Oh, look at that!
And look what it say, Miss Nita. Would you be so kind, since you are the actor, to read this?
Hebrews 11:6, the New International Version.
Yes.
Let me put on let me put on my. I'm gonna put on my my voiceover voice.
Yes. Should I gargle?
No, go ahead. Here we go. Me. And without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and rewards those who earnestly seek him. So leave me alone. First of all, leave me be. Leave me be.
Yes.
And the thing is, it's like Child, this episode could be 4 hours.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we might.
It could be 4 hours. You know what? Right here, I'm gonna shout out. I'm gonna shout out somebody.
Oh yes,
I'm gonna shout out Miss Sharice at Create Faith Pod.
Yes, Create Faith Pod.
Yes, go listen to her, because Sharice is a journalist, and she had Kenya and I on, and that episode we will let you know when that drops on her site, but we were talking about a lot of this stuff and talking about how when she was a journalist, you know, and artists would tell her, you know, their faith experience, because she was working for outlets, right? You know, that were media outlets that were like, well, you know, you can cut all that Jesus stuff out. You know, they felt like they didn't have a space to talk about those things. And, you know, that leads to something, you know. So
nobody wants to be instantly persecuted because they say, or not persecuted, but they don't want to be put into a box or stereotype. I mean, part of what the beauty of being an artist is that you get to hop out of that box. And the minute that you hop in, you are compared to extremists in a sense.
And that's a word.
That's a word
right there. Because,
you know,
that's the thing.
Extremists are everywhere,
and extremists are loud.
Yes.
So they get more attention,
right,
than people who, you know, are people of faith, just trying to live and walk and do and be.
Right.
You know, and when I say people of faith, I'm not just talking about Christians.
Right. Oh yes. Yes.
You know, because that is the faith that I'm raised in. That is what I believe. That is what makes sense to me. Right. But, you know, I know people who are spirit-filled people who are not necessarily Christian. Right. And here's the thing. We ain't talk about all of it. Yeah. But I know all of the different modes and expressions of faith that I have tried on this journey. Right. And they were not all Christian. No. And I believe that God used every single piece of it to bring me to the place where I am now. And so there are things that I know I believe that are in opposition to the doctrine that is taught by the traditional Christian church. Right. You know, there is the holiness or hell doctrine. And holiness or hell is you can't wear a skirt that's this short, even if you are going out with your husband. A drop of alcohol better never touch your lips. See, we got problems, girl. You know, all the things, like I have a lot of
you seen me on my date with my 47-year-old self? Look, if I have Tina Turner legs, if I keep them, and at least from the knee down. Now, I ain't gonna say that I got them from the knee up no more, but I got them from the knee down. I'm gonna wear my cute little skirt with my husband.
You know, but I mean, but like there's like you can't even be seen in a club. Right. What do you mean you're going to the 90s dance night?
Yes, this is not for you.
What are you
Turn
doing?
It off.
What are you doing at the reggae club dancing?
That's right.
Do you know that there are people there?
Whining with my husband.
Right. Like I'm grinding.
Or I'm just whining.
You know,
because I want to.
Right. But you know, and that's okay because here's the thing. Right. Your walk is yours. Your walk is yours. And so there, you know, Paul said, if your brother does not eat meat, then don't offend him. So I'm not gonna come up in front of church in my Jouvert outfit and wind down to the floor. But if I embrace that part of my heritage, and the Holy Spirit has not convicted me.
Thank you. It is good.
And I have peace in my heart.
Yes.
To express myself the way I see fit.
Tell them.
And me and Jesus, all right? That ain't none of your business.
Right. And who are you to come up in here and tell me how much or how much I do or don't have as far as faith in God and what I should and should not be.
Right.
How dare you?
Look, here it is. I've played roles where I've had to simulate sex on stage.
Right.
I've played roles where,
I've had to be a dancing demon.
Right. All type of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing is, my job as an actor is not to present perfection. It is to present the absolute authenticity of the human experience.
Thank you.
So that means if I'm playing a hoe,
you got to be a hoe.
I got to present the hoe truthfully.
Yeah.
If I'm playing...
Yeah, that's right.
And that's hoe, Heaux. If I'm playing...
It's French.
If I'm playing
you are a hoe.
Right. These hoes ain't ready. If I'm playing a person who is a thief or a liar,
right,
then I am presenting that with truth
and
with authenticity.
Come on, Medea Essex.
Come on, of that person's experience. Yeah, when I portray Medea, I portrayed a woman who murdered her baby.
Right.
That is something that I, Nina, would never personally do.
No, of course not.
But that
and if it's exciting to you to take on a role, that's not a bad thing either.
Well, because here's the thing, I know what I can and can't do.
Right.
Like I have sense enough to know this is an area I don't need to step into.
Right.
Because spiritually, not now.
Not for the Ninas. Not for
me.
Right.
And I have turned down roles.
Right. Same here. Same.
Because of that.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, y'all.
No. Oh, yeah.
I just committed cardinal sin. I crunched ice on Mike. But...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I understand.
Jump in there, because I'm talking a lot.
Okay. I don't even know what to say. All I know is that I can completely understand what you're going through. There's, you go on stage, sometimes you're not going to wear too much clothing.
Right.
And for me, I guess it's nothing, because the body is such a beautiful instrument.
Right. And what you do demonstrates the fullness of God's creation in a way that a lot of things don't.
Right. It really does. I could do it without words. When I find that I'm at a loss of words, a lot of times I can literally move my way through it. And I like to be seen, and I like to see. So I had a big problem of when I first praise dance. I mean, I don't know when it first started, because I think I've always been doing it. They called it praise dance somewhere around the 90s or so, when it started to become very popular. But before then, I was practicing ballet and modern, and I would do things for churches anyway. And I've been doing that since I was in Catholic school. At 6th grade, they were calling me, yeah, we know that you take ballet classes. Can you do the 7 stations? Yes. All right, everybody, follow Kenya. So, I've been doing it since then.
Right.
Because they could see the importance of it. For me, it meant one thing. For me to be able to move and express myself. For someone else, it touched someone else in a way, and was able to express something to them without words. And I was able to be a vessel. So when but you got to move. So I had a very big problem with going in and being, the skirts and there's the leotards, the tights, the palazzo pants, the skirt over that, another shirt, an overlay, and
because
all of
if we see one piece of skin,
if you see one piece of skin,
everyone will be tempted and fall into
anybody who knows me,
sin and
child, and here I come with spaghetti straps because I want to see arms and stuff like that. No. Now, mind you, I understand that you have to be a certain type of way in the actual sanctuary. I love that. I appreciate that. That's beautiful. But at the same time, there has to be some type of compromise too, and I don't care about what somebody says if they see my wrist. You know, if you get like that when you see my wrist, you need to work on yourself.
You need to take that up with the Lord, because that's
really
a
do.
personal problem.
That's not my problem. Don't come to me and say, Sister Kenya, you were showing your forearm today. How dare you take yourself and take a fire bath because you are a heathen. I'm not a heathen. You are a heathen. Your mama's a heathen. Get out of my face. What is wrong with you? You know, I'm not showing up in a thong. You know, I'm showing up to dance. You know, you miss the experience once you put those types of labels. And so, I know that I run into many people like this, but I also have run into people who are artists who don't want to be, labeled, as being a heathen when they really need that Christian experience. Because the only thing that it does is it takes the artist who sees something bigger than themselves, that knows that God exists, who may not know much of anything else. Let's say they don't know anything about it, but they feel like something exists and they want to be able to identify in some way. You have just pushed them away with a doctrine that either Jesus didn't say. Didn't have nothing. Jesus didn't say nothing about that,
Come on.
or wasn't in the Bible, or any of that, know. So, I think, I feel like in the church, in many cases, especially as we talk about sex and homosexuality, and I'm not saying yes or no about anything, because to be honest with you, all I know is that I know people are people, and they, that there are good people and there are bad people, and people have morals and some don't. But I do not like it when homosexuals get pointed the finger at a lot of times, but people who cheat easily on their wives
come through.
And this is the worst, who put their hands on children
come through.
Come through. They are always seem to be in a position where they have something to say about you and your lifestyle. And when it comes down to it, they have been committing the biggest sin of all. They have touched on children, or they have laid hands on many women. They haven't been living right, And so I can, for me, I know I'm not perfect. So a lot of times when I come forth as very apologetic, because I don't know everything and I'm open to learn. But what you're not going to do.
Oh, come on. Yeah. No, go ahead.
But what you're not going to do is come and stuff your ideologies down my neck or my throat or anybody else's throat as an artist, and say that the artist does not have a place in the Christian world. We absolutely have a spot in the Christian world.
And if we're honest.
Yes, if we're honest.
If we're honest.
Yes, be honest.
80% of the songs that we lift our hands to, gospel whatever hour, and all of that.
Which I love gospel house music, y'all.
Yeah.
Just want you to know.
But many of them are written by musicians who happen to be homosexual, and we pretend like we don't know that.
Yeah, come on.
And I'm like, stop. And then there's like I talk about this all the time. People got different things that they say about it, and it's fine.
Right.
What I'm about to talk about is you're allowed and entitled to your opinion about this particular topic, and that's Kirk Franklin. If you've ever seen Kirk Franklin perform live, right? He is a gifted performer. Like, he has the gift of putting on a show.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But there's no place for that.
No.
In the current, understanding of what Christian gospel concerts are supposed to be.
You're either uplifted or you're not.
It's only supposed to be a worship experience, period.
Yeah.
And if you do anything else, that's considered the flesh, that's considered strange fire, and that's not of God. And it's like, but if God gifted him to be a showman,
right. Right.
Because he's not just a musician and a producer.
Right.
If God gifted him to be a showman,
right.
But you don't allow him to use that gift for God.
Right.
But then he goes and he makes a song with Chance the Rapper or somebody else. Then you want to say, he left and went to the world. Well, you told him he had no out. Yeah, right. You said he ain't had no place here.
Right. So he left.
But if he has a vision, if he knows how to like put on a show, and I want pyrotechnics, and I want this animation, and these dances and this thing, we gonna do this, and he is an entertainer, which he clearly is.
That's what he is. Either you gonna have it out there, or you gonna have it in church every Sunday.
Here we go, because that is a part of his gift,
right?
And the gifts this is Bible. The gifts of God are without repentance. Then what is he supposed to do?
Right, he just supposed to just roll
He's
over.
Supposed to what is he supposed to do? Because if you know anybody who is truly an artist and that's their gift and their calling, it is against every instinct you have not to do it. You can't
not do it, because that's what God gave you to do.
Hear me clearly.
Yes.
Nobody would choose to do this. This mess is hard.
It's hard.
This mess is hard.
You went to school and you studied. You've been on stage, New York stages. You've been internationally, London,
Germany, all
of that. To come back and to be
and to change diapers.
Yeah, even that. You did all of that, and then you take a position to teach drama.
Yeah,
whether it's in the school or the church.
Right.
Who does that?
Right. Like you this is not something you choose.
This is your walk of faith.
Right, exactly.
This is the walk of faith.
This chooses you.
Right.
And so it's like if we don't provide a place, you know, and let me just be clear. There is no such thing as a Christian regional union theater that is in the League of Resident Theater Systems that hires equity stage managers and union techs and union designers and there is no such thing. It doesn't exist.
No, it does not.
So then everybody's answer is, well, you should just create it. And then you say, all right,
I'm going to need this, and that.
No, or you do it. I've produced a play. I've written a play. We've rehearsed the play. Come to the play. Oh, well, I'm
girl.
Come on now. So I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
That's right.
What the Lord told me to do.
Right.
And
that's right.
You walk away.
Walk away, or you can take a seat in the house.
Right. Several
seats.
Whether it be in the pew or in the theater.
Yeah.
Seats abound all over.
Center or stage left.
Right. You can even sit in the bus going away.
Go ahead.
For me.
Sit in the bus.
Yeah, I mean it's a tricky thing and a tricky place to be.
Yeah.
And it really is. And like my thing is, again, if we are who we say we are,
yes,
and we believe what we say we believe, we're supposed to be living epistles read of men.
Yeah.
That's what it means when people say, you hear old black people say, sometimes you be the only Bible people read. That is the black grandmama interpretation of living epistles read of men.
Yeah.
I might be the only piece of God somebody sees today. And the word says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
Please
leave people alone. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. I don't have a heaven or hell to put you in. I don't.
Right.
I don't.
I wish I did.
No, but I don't. I don't. I don't want that responsibility. What you want me to do? Lord, make a play. Got it.
Got you.
Raise these babies. Got it. Love my husband. Got it. Love you all day.
All day, every day.
Got it.
Listen to what you say. Got no choice. Because you're going to
pray always.
Bring everything to that.
At all times.
Right.
Got it. And I mean, this life is a life of faith.
Yeah. You've already committed to it once you become an artist. Because you were born that way. You were.
Cue Lady Gaga. No.
Right? Yeah. So once you've done all that work, you know.
And it's touchy. It's hard.
It is hard because you can't have an hour and 30-minute conversation with everybody about it. And then we know what we're going through.
Right.
I can't have this same conversation with someone else who has no idea.
Right.
I have to, and if I'm going to help change the world, I have to have the conversation, but I can't come at it like that.
Right. I'm at a place again where I'm having to pull on faith in a different way, because we made a decision, I guess it's been almost 2 years now, to leave the church that we have been members of for almost 10 years. And if I'm truly honest,
I got your back, literally.
Right. If I'm truly honest, the Lord told me to leave. I knew it was time to leave probably like 6-7 months before we left. And, honestly, my husband was like, I'm done, and he was out.
Right.
And that was fine. But I stayed, and I stayed because of loyalty.
Yeah.
I stayed because I love the people there. I stayed because those people are, still to this day.
Are. Yeah.
They are my sisters and brothers. I had 4 of my 5 children there when we joined that church. My oldest daughter was 3, so it's like we've had all of our kids that, all of our kids were born, and started the first part of their life in that church. That church has prayed for them, prayed over them, covered them. And I know that there are people there who still do and pray for us and all of that. But it was time to go. We had outgrown the place. And, it was very painful when we left, because when I finally left, and here's me trying to do it the right way. And, it's like, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And it didn't quite go the way I wanted it to go, the way I envisioned it.
I remember all of that.
Yeah. And,
I'm going to write a letter. And
right. All the stuff, all the
submit
things.
A play.
Right.
And I'm going to do a proposal.
Right.
I was like,
I'm going to finish this work, that I started. Yeah. And it's like everything I tried to do kept falling apart. It's like, because that's not what I told you to do. I told you to leave.
Right. And remember, you had you had a dream. Okay. Was it the market dream? That's the one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And obedience is better than sacrifice.
Yes, amen.
And I was told to leave, and I did not. And so it was painful.
Yeah.
It was very painful. Right. I had to leave when I was supposed to.
Yeah.
And, it was hard because, you have a 10-year relationship with anybody or anything.
Right.
Even if you leave well.
That's still hard.
Oh yeah, and there's a grieving and a loss, and what's interesting is I didn't even think of it that way, because for me, grief and loss were like, the thing doesn't exist anymore in this realm, the person is gone from this realm and you'll see them again later, my shout out to the team.
Yeah.
My therapist was like, girl, you grieving. And I was like, oh, okay.
But the funny thing was that was a tough year, because that was the year I think your father had passed. Was that in the same? So, and it was funny because as your friend looking from my angle, you could see you were grieving, but I was almost also happy for you.
It makes sense.
Because I could see you doing it was alchemy is what it was.
There it was.
It was alchemy.
It was alchemy.
And in order to make alchemy, well, I don't know how to make alchemy happen because I'm not an alchemist. However, what I do know that it involves cooking tools. And cooking tools often need heat. You need heat. And you need some type of pressure, and you need time and a lot of patience. And I'm sure if you are the lump of coal or lead that is turning into gold, I'm sure it can't feel good if that's what you transition to. And so for me, that's what it looked like watching. It was like, oh my gosh, it's been this wonderful piece of lead, and it's been such a great piece of lead, but it's not lead anymore. It just, it's time for it to become gold, and so to watch you to go through that and handle it so gracefully.
Was it graceful?
It was graceful.
It didn't feel like it was.
No, you ain't seen nothing great. I seen ungraceful things. Pull yourself together.
Right.
But I think you could do it because of the amount of faith that you've had. And it doesn't mean that it's easy or that or any of that. It just works in the way that it works.
Yeah.
It works in the way that it works.
I mean, leaving the job was
That's
a step of faith. I mean,
I know. Hey,
you know, because from the outside looking in, like just to give you a picture, you know, this is the oldest American theater in the country. It's 100 years old.
Yeah.
You know, I've been there through 3 artistic directors.
Yeah.
I've been there through us receiving a Tony. I've been there through us receiving all types of awards, some of them based on work that I helped co-create.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in a management position in this theater as a Black woman. I'm the first Black woman ever to be full-time staff, education and artistic. And, you know,
you walk away?
Yeah, and I walked away.
Yeah.
But I walked away.
I understand what that feels like.
Right, and it was time to walk away because, you know, one of the things I would often say is my children don't get any piece of this place when I die.
Right.
And the legacy of my name is well established. That's beautiful.
Right.
The Bible says, and I'm sure many
back in the book,
right? And I'm sure many other holy texts say something similar, but the Bible is the one I know. Says a wise man or woman leaves an inheritance for his children's children.
Yes,
and they're not just talking about the name. We leave a spiritual inheritance. We can leave a legacy.
Right.
We can leave all those things. Right. My parents. And when I say my parents, I also mean my foremothers and forefathers.
Yes.
Were not slaves, sharecroppers, went through civil rights and several wars, bled, fought, and died for me to just leave a name.
Yes.
They did those things so that I could leave something better. And each generation we have been able to leave a little bit more.
Right. That's
my job. I'm supposed to leave them a spiritual inheritance, a name, and some money.
Right. Some money was really nice. You know, and you can't do that if you're farting around.
Well, and if I'm constantly working to fulfill somebody else's vision.
Right.
And a lot of times, you know, it takes faith to see yourself large.
Right.
In a place where other people see you small.
Right.
Or to see yourself large when they see you large and want to keep you small.
Yes,
or want to use
a big deal.
You
right.
to fulfill their vision.
Right.
Forgetting that you have your own.
That's right.
You know, it takes faith.
And purposely deterring you from that.
Yeah. Like, well, we're going to give you this and this and this. That's so beautiful. It's not what I want to do.
Right. You didn't hear what I was telling you 10 years ago.
Or you heard me and you're ignoring me and I'm tired of being ignored.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a whole nother.
Here it is. My art is service. Mm-hmm. My art is sacred space. You know, I found God in the theater.
Right.
God, you know, I was open to meeting him there. And so whenever I am blessed and privileged to take the stage and hold space and give voice to a story that will help somebody understand themselves better, understand someone in their lives better, build compassion, build empathy, even give them joy, entertainment, and hope, you know, I feel blessed to do that. And that is sacred to me. And I'll be goddamn.
Sell them.
If I'm going to let you take it from me.
Yeah, right.
Because you need me to put in a report. I love you.
Right.
God bless you.
And there you have the episode on faith. That is why we have this podcast.
Yes. And are all hearts and minds clear?
Yes, I'm clear. I'm clear. I feel a lot better.
Is it well with
I feel armed. Yes, it is well. It is well. Oh, with my soul.
Oh my goodness! Right, I'm gonna find Richard Smallwood, amen, from Total Praise.
Yes, child. Yes.
Oh, well, on that note, we'll say
yes. Love y'all.
Peace.